Welcome to 365 Christian Men, where every day we aim to inspire and encourage with real-life stories about men. April 7th, Bob Gass. Bob preached his first sermon when he was 13, and he entered full-time ministry at the age of 18. He worked as a pastor, a guest speaker, and an evangelist before beginning his career as an author. In 1994, at age 50, Bob produced the first edition of The Word for You Today, a daily devotional that now appears in print, on radio, on television, and on digital platforms. Bob and his wife Debby built a transition home for orphans in Romania, the Village of Hope. It keeps orphans off the streets and out of overcrowded state-run orphanages, and it places them into homes with loving families.
Our destiny is not determined by whether we see it, but whether we embrace it. At 1 a.m, Bob Gass got a phone call from a friend. It was a friend he had reached out to for advice and encouragement, and the caller had a word from the Lord. Bob had been emotionally drained. He had sunk to the lowest point in the darkest period of his life. He had overextended himself, crashed, and gone up in emotional flames. To keep up with the massive weight of commitments he had taken on, he allowed an addiction to grip his life, and the strain on his marriage had reached a breaking point. A divorce he did not want. Things could not get much worse. It certainly was not the life Bob had envisioned when he had immigrated to America from Ireland to become a preacher. He wanted to preach the gospel and live for Christ. But now he was not sure how God was ever going to be able to use him. So Bob took a 2-year break from ministry. He went to godly men and asked for prayer, guidance, and encouragement. And of course, God answered. The friend called in the middle of the night with this core message. The battle in your life is not over your past. It is not even over your present, where Bob was currently living defeated. The battle in your life is over your future. It hit Bob like a sledgehammer. Satan was trying to destroy his future by stopping him from fulfilling God's plans today. The revelation seemed like an out-of-body experience. Something rose up within his spirit and latched on to the promise from God's word. In Psalm 118:17, we are told, I will not die, but live, and tell the works of the Lord. After that night, everything changed, and Bob's been declaring the works of the Lord ever since. Eventually, Bob entered a new phase of ministry through writing. He published 3,500 copies of a booklet containing daily devotions he had written, entitled The Word for You Today. Those 3,500 booklets initiated a mailing list of over 600,000 readers who wanted to receive more devotionals regularly. The ministry grew, and The Word for You Today now reaches approximately 7.6 million people in 17 languages through print, Facebook, email, and other digital means. What if Bob Gass, at his lowest point, had decided that God was through using him? The truth is, Bob's personal failures allowed him to connect with people in a profound and personal way. Although Bob did not know why God would choose to use him, he always gave God all the credit for his success. His faith revived. He often prayed, Lord, if you don't help me do this, I'm sunk. And he wrote several years ahead of schedule so his devotionals would reach multitudes even after his death. God was not finished with Bob yet, and his faithful words still speak to the hearts of those who need a word for today. Bob once said, "It's up to you to take authority over Satan's lies. Your potential doesn't change because you don't believe it." Are you listening to the lies that might be used to destroy your purpose and destiny? Do you believe your past and even your present situation has disqualified you? Are you willing to pray and ask God to use your past and even your current situation to guide you to the future He desires for you? Our destiny is not determined by whether we see it, but whether we embrace it.
Thank you for listening to today's story. Every day of the year, our hope is to inspire you with real-life stories of faithful men who have gone before us. Hebrews 12:1 says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin that so easily ensnares us. Let us run with endurance the race that is set before us." Join us tomorrow for another story at 365christianmen.com.